Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here, Tuesday the 28th of May 2024. Right, hot on the heels of returning from the BSA National Weekend and Open Day, this weekend just gone, we're going to get started on the Bonnie at last. Right, so painting done and all hardened off, so we need to get those out of the way and safe. I was intending to sort the back brake out first, but actually what I'd like to do is finish off the front end, because I'd like to see what the paintwork looks like, the front mudguard looks like once we've got this in. So what I've got to do first is we'll take that front wheel out. It's only resting in there anyway. Just tidy up the hub if we need to with some traditional hammerite, and then we've got a new disc to put on there with new bolts. Get the end caps on, and then we'll put the mudguard on with its new bracket as well. Where's the bracket? There it is there. Also, once I've got the wheel out, I'm tempted to give the caliper maybe a bit of a tart up, although obviously on this side at the front it is covered up by its chrome cover, which we don't have on the back. But anyway, that's what we intend to do today. First thing is tidy up that, get all the paintwork out the way, get all the paints out the way now. We've done that for a little bit. Do a bit of a tidy up. The parts, the new parts for this, which we ordered and received last year, oops, are safe in a box over at the back here, somewhere down there. All the Bonnie parts are down there, so we'll dig out what we need, have a bit of a tidy up, and then I'll bring you back. As you can see, B25 SS is in here now as well. That gives me a daily rider. Right, let's get on. So this is what we've got then with respect to boxes of parts. So those are all the new parts that we ordered up for the bike. So there's discs in there, as you can see, switch gear, master cylinders, a whole host of stuff. We've got over here 2 new air filters, because we found there was only one on the bike anyway, and one of the other one was rubbish. In there and under there safely is the tank at the bottom. See, original side panels, but which are rough as hell, but and under here 1 or 2 bits on top that obviously we need, but underneath there safely are 2 brand new old stock side panels for Jubilee, so we just need to transfer the badges off those. So this is the box we need initially, so we can get that up the front once we've tidied up all the paints away. That looks a bit tidier. Cleared all this lot up. This will be a bit of working area at the end of the bench. I've now raised the bench a bit, so we've got some storage underneath for the new parts. Just taking the wheel out and put it on axle stands. But the first job that I'm going to do now is just see if I can tidy up this caliper a bit. It doesn't need much. I've given it a wire brush, cleaned it down with solvent, and you can see on the back side, which isn't covered, it's not too bad. But around here where you can see it, because the cover only comes up to about there, what I'm going to do is a different trick. Rather than spray it, mask it all off and spray it, just put the same brake caliper paint that we've used over there on the rear caliper. But what we'll do is wipe it on with either kitchen roll or a bit of rag, depending on what comes out better, just to get a little light covering and just to colour it slightly, and so it's not too far away from this. Let's see how we go. Right, so just spraying paint onto kitchen roll so it's not too soaked, and just dab it And there we go. So I've not done this. I've just tried to sort of blend that in a bit. Oh, I've missed a little bit over there. Just there, can you see? Oh God, I keep banging my head on the bars. Quite pleased with that. Can't see it's down the bottom there. It's a bit dark, but it's the same anyway. So I'll just go back, do that bit over there that I missed. And then we'll let that dry, see how it is, and we might need to just do a little dab or two more, but bloody pleased with that. Dead easy to do. Little trick I learnt a long while ago. Right, next thing, just do that bit and then we'll go to the wheel. I've got my silver hammerite, got the thinners, they were in stock. What I want to do, when we had the wheels rebuilt, we said to Central Wheels, don't paint the rim, because that is the original finish, which was in hammerite. And you can see there's one or two little areas that need a little tiny bit of a touch, which we'll try and do. The disc goes on this side, so that's all going to be covered. This side looks pretty good actually. So we've only got some little tiny areas to do, which is good. I'll do that little tiny bit there. There's a bit of a rub. It's a good, as I say, it's good that we've only got little tiny areas to do, because I've got smooth and not the original mottled. But if I dab that on with a brush, we'll be fine. They do look good, these wheels. They're going to look bloody brilliant when we're on with that guard. Okay, let's crack on. Okay, that's that touched up with hammerite. I'm really pleased with that. It's come out really well. It's a good match. On the spindle on this side, I have just put a little bit on there and on the bearing retainer because they were a bit rusty, so I've cleaned them up. The rest of this obviously is clamped within the fork. But yeah, it's come out really well. And the key is not to load your brush up too much, just to keep it lightly loaded, and then you can sort of scrub it and brush it in, and it matches up really well then. It's gone really well on this side. Also the bearing retaining ring, which is defined by the holes for a peg spanner, and the nut on this side have cleaned up pretty well. Bearings feel really good, nice and smooth, not growling, so we're not gonna touch those. So that's that job done. Right, discs. New disc, old disc. Apart from the rust, spot the difference. We need more paint. Right, next day. So I've been pondering on this and thinking what to do and digging out what paints we've got. So we have still got some silver sheen left, but we've got this silver nitromorphs that I used on the underside of the mudguards, and this is going to be more resilient because it basically states that it's got salt spray resistance in excess of 250 hours and blah blah blah, and we don't need to do any prep at all with this really, except just to degrease and that. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and as a comparison, that's the silver sheen, and that's the nitromorphs. Sorry, is it nitromorphs silver? Rust control, yeah. And as these are going to get rusty when they're not used anyway around the edges, I'm going to use this. It's a little bit darker there because it's not quite dried around the edges. It's not much different. So I'm going to do that. So we'll spray the inner. You can see from the wear pattern here that the pad is contacting from there to the edge. So I'm just comparing the patterns, the casting patterns at the moment. So I am going to overspray onto what might be the pad area, but then the pads will just rub off where the contact point is anyway. So I'll degrease both of these to front and back. I've got 2 discs. And then while we're waiting for that, or doing that as well, what we can do is we can grab the rear wheel and check. There we go. So this needs a little bit of touching up as well. We can do that too. Okie dokie, let's crack on with that. The weather today is it's a bit cool, but it is supposed to remain dry and get warmer and brighter. So we'll set the old steps up outside and get on with those discs. Right, that's the disc painted on both sides. And as I say, what I ended up doing was using that Nitramorse salt resistant paint and God knows what. And yes, there's deliberately overspray, because although that's the official edge of, if you like, the brake face, if you look at the old disc, it's actually there. So anyway, it can find its own position, and there's only a bit of light flash there, so that'll soon wear off with a couple of rotations, no doubt. So they look pretty good and are a good match. So what we can do now then is we'll get on with mounting that on the front wheel, one of them, and we'll get the front wheel in the forks, and I'll also put the front mudguard together. So let's get these on the beach, on the bench. I'm thinking holidays again. So that's the significantly bolstered up front mudguard stay that was on later oiling framers. As you know, we had to get a new second-hand one because the front piece had fractured off on the original one there and was absolutely missing. And then this is a bottom stay. I've done a bit of cleaning up on that. The chrome on it's pretty good, except for, where is it? Oh, there it is. There it is. Bit of a scratch there. It's a bit unfortunate. But anyway, we'll put plenty of polish on this. And the mudguard itself is over in the back, in the box safe, so we'll dig that out. The other quick update is that I've painted up, you can't see it very well from here, but you'll just have to believe me. The hub I've touched up as well in the same way that I did do with the front hub. So that's ready to go now. I won't do it for this video, but we need to dig out the sprocket and check that over and clean that up. Never thought to do that earlier, but again, that's over in the back there behind the Aerial 3 there. Right, disc on wheel and front mudguard on, and it's the usual mounting points, 2 at the top on each leg. And then with this model, you've got the additional mounting point, which is on the caps. That's why I can't see them. So I'm going to do 2 caps out. I've got new spring washers and nuts for this end as well. We'll try and use new fitments where we can. Right, so I'll get on with that. I won't bore you with showing you that because it's just doing up bolts. We have got new disc mounting bolts. They're UNF, so I've got nuts for them. They're for the front wheel. There's 4 in here for the back wheel, which are a bit longer. Right, oh yeah, just one other thing as well. We've just got to make sure that the mating surfaces are nice and flat. And there's actually, while I remember, here it is. This was inside the box, stuck inside the box that the disc came in. Just a bit of an advisory, just making sure that the mating surfaces between the disc and the hub are obviously clean, and to tighten up the 4 bolts evenly in sequence. Right, let's do it. Disc on with its new bolts, and on the back side new washer and lock nut, and that's as per the parts book. So whenever I replace fittings, etc., I always check the parts book for the correct sequence, if you like. And similarly, we're on the front mudguard now, mounting bracket. So the new proper screws came with a fibre washer and a nut. Sorry, there's the fibre washer and a nut. Well, it's now plastic washer rather than fibre. But according to the parts book, you can see that the fibre washer sits between the bracket and the guard, but then there's another washer underneath before the nut, which is right. So we've added a metal washer to each of these. So that's the full set. So we'll get that on there now, and we'll also get the bottom bracket. Now for the bottom bracket we need 4, just says bolt, rear stator blade, washer and nut. It looks like short 7/16. Let's check it out. Right, front mudguard is on loosely. All the top screws are in with all their fasteners on the back, and we're mounted onto the front sliders, but it all fairly loose at the moment until we get the back stay on, so we can just line everything up properly. But now I want to get the wheel in. We're just about lined up there to do that, so I can do it two-handed once with the wheel there being supported in the clamp. I can just grab it once I lift the front fork off, and with the other hand, right hand on the front fork, left hand chuck the axle stands away and grab the wheel, undo it and grab it and put it in. Now then, bottom fork caps, found those eventually. They need a bit of a clean up, and I was going to put some new UNF bolts in it, but the originals, well, there might be the originals here, they're UNC, which makes sense. I think the UNC, unless it's been re-tapped, they're not in bad nick. But anyway, they need cleaning up, and then we'll decide what we're going to do with these. I'm going to have to probably root around in stash all over the place. I've got a load of stash under there, especially Fury bits, but more mixtures and nuts and bolts and stuff down there. But in all the new stuff I've got over there, that's all UNF. But anyway, we'll have a think about that once we get the wheel in. So the important thing here is make sure the damn pads are apart, and they're not playing very well at the moment. But anyway, we'll get it in and I'll bring it back. Well, it's gone pretty well. We're just about there. Front wheel went in okay. Disc lines up nicely. Looks close to the fork, but always does, because that's where the caliper is. So you know what you can do about that, unless you move the caliper. We ain't doing that, because then the wheel will be out of line. Got the caliper cover out, gave that a bully up. I've just got to tighten everything up at the moment. It's loosely done because I haven't got the right bolts for the back here. I need to get some 7/16 by a half. I've got 7/16 by about an inch, but they're too long, and I hate sawing stuff because it just rusts on the other side. Cleaned up this okay. Needs a bit of a dress with a new washer. I need to put that nut on the back side there to lock it. Fork caps, as you can see, I did label up these when I took them off, because it's important you get those the right way around, because otherwise they'll crack. Just got to do the other side. Top screws, etc., all in, as are the slider mounting bolts for the mudguard as well. So looking pretty good. I think that'll be okay. So gonna finish off this side. I've just got to clean up the cap but I've got the nuts and washers for that. I've got plenty of fittings in stock. I just haven't got short 7/16 UNF. But there we go. Right, assembly. We're on our way, and that's the first assembly we've done for an awful long time through damp paint. It'll look a bit neater once we get the disc turning and clean the disc up with the pads, these sort of flash paint, but that's fine. All right, I think that looks all right. I'm sure Greg, the owner, Greg, you'll let me know if that's okay. But we're on our way, so I'm going to leave it there because we'll try and keep these a bit shorter and a bit more snappy. It's now Thursday, the 30th of May. Got a weekend away, but back at it next week. We'll button all this lot up here, and then we'll go to the back end and we'll get that disc brake out as well. All right, everybody, that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for any comments and subscriptions, and I'll see you all again soon. Cheers.